Hi everybody, welcome to the Academy. It's Mark Cleverone here, and today we're looking at how to create a simple moving GIF. So it's an animated GIF that you can kind of put in the likes of Photoshop. Just going to show you quickly first, and then we'll show some little bit more of a funky effect of how we can make it really sing more and more and more. So what we're looking at now is a GIF. Of course, it's animated, very simple to do within Photoshop. As you can see, what we've got here is basically a file. This one has been saved, but there's no really need to save it. And running down the right hand side, we've got lots of different layers. If I drag that layer stack out for a minute, you can see it basically consists of all these layers here. And what we've got here at the bottom is the timeline visible in Photoshop. Let's just close this down and basically start from scratch, just so you see how simple it is to begin with. I'm just going to go into File, and we're going to go into Scripts and load files into stack. So what I'm going to do now is choose a variety of different photographs. In this case, I'm going to go into Album Proofs, into Elise, select all those images there except for the back cover and the front cover. So this is just an album design that I did in Fundy. Just going to press OK, and then basically Photoshop will automatically load each of those different documents into a layer, okay, in a same document, but it's a new document that hasn't been saved, as you can see in the top left hand side here. And then all I really need to do is obviously make sure I've got my timeline visible. If it's not, I just go into Windows, click onto Timeline, and then as you can see now it's gone. Click onto Timeline, now it comes back again. Yep, it's here. And then there's two options in the timeline. If you use the drop down arrow, you can either have a create video timeline if you want to create some video, MP4s and so on. In this case, I want to create a frame animation. So with that in mind, all I need to do is click now, create frame animation, and that will automatically add what is the top layer to the actual timeline itself. Now, if you've seen films that we made on GIFs before, you'll know that when I create an automated one in a minute, it's going to start with the bottom layer and work itself upwards. Okay, so to put all these individual files straight down onto the timeline as one, I want to create click on the three little lines on the timeline, and then I want to kind of make frames from layers. Okay, and once I do that, then it works from the bottom upwards, and then it basically kind of creates it. Okay, so then it's just done our job for us. If we hit the play button, it's going to be too fast. Yep, so let's just select all those images, click on one of the down arrows and change it to a different speed, in this case 0.5 seconds, so half a second, and that's much better. And then if that's the pace that we wanted it to, all we need to do now is save the GIF. So I just go into File, export it, click on Save for Web. If you know the size, you enter it in there specifically. As it is, I'm just going to go as it is. By default, it converts it to sRGB, which is good for web, of course. I'm going to click on there, and all I'm going to do is GIF album 1. Okay, so you can see I've created a few up there before. And then it'll just take it a little bit of time. And then technically, if I just click on the animation off screen, so if I just bring those on, you can see them here. This is the new one we just made. And then basically we're just going to click it, and then it's going to do its job. Okay, so that's how simple it really is. All right, so there's no excuse not to be able to actually learn that skill set. Let's just kind of do it again so you can remember how to kind of do it from scratch. So remember, what we're going to do is go into File, into Scripts. Then we're going to load files into stack. We're going to choose exactly the same files again, okay, excluding the back cover and the front cover. So as I said, the album itself is designed in Fundy in the automation, so even the creation of the album itself didn't take very long. But what I want to do in here, in fact, now is instead of just kind of doing what we just did a minute ago, clicking on create frame and then clicking onto the three lines and going into make frames from layers, I want to do some other things as well. All right, so I want to kind of create a little bit of a difference. So I just Control Z that just to kind of unstack it. Now remember that when it loads automatically into the timeline here, it does start from the bottom layer. So in other words, if I wanted this to be the last layer, it would have to be on the top, okay? And that's how it would then actually appear. So I'm going to switch all these other ones off for a minute, and we're just going to do something interesting to this layer to begin with. Okay, so let's go Control J to duplicate it, Control J again to duplicate it, and then Control J to duplicate it again. So we actually have 4 layers of the same file here. We're going to switch the top ones off for a minute and select in the bottom layer, and what I'm going to do is now go in and select around some of the different files. Control backspace to delete them. All right, we've got rid of that. Then deselect, so Control D. Then I'm going to switch that one off. I'm going to go up to here. So remember, you can see from below which one was there. So let's kind of keep that one as well, and we'll just add the one to the left hand side, shall we? Yeah, we will. So let's just delete these 2 on the right hand. So remember to have the layer that you want to affect selected. Control D. Let's go on to the next layer, and now I want to actually create the one on the end, let's say. So let's switch it on. So the only one I need to delete now at this point is going to be this one in the middle. Once more, as long as the layer is selected, Control J. And then of course we've got the last one is already there. So if we were to kind of see how that is going to work, technically it's like switching layers on. So that one, then that one, then that one, then that one. So we could also make a bit of a difference in here, couldn't we? And we could turn everything else to perhaps black and white. So Control J, and then if I select just the last image we just chose, yeah, and then I'm going to go select and inverse. He says, okay. And then I'm going to just press my F4 key, which is my black and white. Let's put a bit of a high contrast on it as well. And I'll just do select and inverse again, and I'm just going to do levels to make it a little bit shocking, brighter. Okay, so then Control D. So we've kind of created this kind of, as you can see already, so there to there to there to there to there. Yep. So it kind of gives a bit of a pop, and of course if I wanted to do that again in reverse, I just Control J it, and this time I'm just going to go in and what I'm going to do, I'm going to select around that image, I'm going to copy it, then I'm select everything and delete it, then I'm going to hit V, so that kind of lay it over the same point. So let's kind of just jiggle it in position so it kind of almost throws us out a little bit, is it? So it will make the others disappear and it will actually grow itself. Quite like that idea. In fact, what we could also do is, I'm just trying to think, I quite like that. I hadn't planned to do that, sorry guys. So it's pretty good. Anyway, let's kind of look at something else for a minute, and let's just do it in the same way. Okay, so in other words, select on the layer that we want. Once more, Control J to duplicate it. Choose the layer below. Remember, that's the one that's going to be seen first, and then just go into the Marquee Tool and just what should we do? Should we make it? Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll just select around different parts of the image. Yeah, and we'll just delete it, so kind of just see through it. So we won't see through it, so don't worry. Okay, it'll be an invisible layer, because remember, these ones are all switched off as such. We should have something that is white below. That's the only thing. So I'm just going to click into create a new layer, and then I'll basically Control backspace, which fills it with the background color, and then these two layers I'm going to flatten. So that's just Control E once I've selected them. I quite like that idea. Let's what else we got here? Switch that one on, like it. So let's Control J again, and then switch the top ones off. Work on this one. Marquee Tool again. Let's just Control backspace. Switch that one off, and then we'll just select the end ones, and then control back. Oh, wrong button. Select that one. There we go. Should have just selected that first. And then that's pretty much it. And perhaps on this top layer, where it's going to reveal this one as well now, we could also do let's select around her. Let's just do a levels pop. And we'll then Alt, wrong button. We're going to just do Shift around that. Now take out the part that we don't want. And then we're just going to hit the F4 key, so the behind her is going to go to black and white as such, really. Yes, pretty cool. All right. You'll enjoy doing that. Right, let's have a little look. So before we do it, I suppose, let's switch these girls on and then basically Control J it, and we'll just turn that bottom one there to black and white. All right, so it doesn't matter switched on, switched off, whichever, okay, just through here. If you have a layer switched off, of course, it's going to ignore it. So now we want to just work it, and so we'll go into hit those three little lines, and then we're going to make frames from layers, which it's done. I think we should just see what it's like to begin with. Great, so the only thing I would say is that the one we made the mistake with was the one here, because we didn't put it onto white, did we? Do you remember? It basically doesn't have anything there, so we need to actually do that again. So let's just step backwards, and then we'll duplicate this layer, or should we go to white? Let's duplicate that layer. So Control J, I'll move that one up. Then remember these two, if I just switch off from above for a minute, sorry. These two are the ones we're going to see. So it's going to go from seeing this to then this. And I think that should move. So I'm going to put those together. So Control E, they're flattened. Yeah, it's pretty good. Let's do it again. And obviously if we go too fast, we're not going to see much of the effect, do we? So we want a little bit of a pace. Yeah, pretty much done. So let's hit the three little lines there. Remember, make frames from layers. That's going to do all its job. Let's slow this down a touch. So let's straight away do it into 0.2, shall we? No, let's do 0.5. That's half a second. Yeah, like that. And of course we could add in some text. We could do what we want, isn't it, really? So I think by hiding photographs and then kind of bringing them up, I think that works a lot better. So you almost have like a standardization. So I don't think it would take much work for you to actually create a real kind of great looking kind of GIF, even if you're using the simple things like album design like I just did. Hope you enjoyed this film. See you on the next one.